In John chapter 21, Peter was around the Sea of Galilee and said, I'm going to go fishing. Several of the other disciples said, we're going too. They fish at night. They'd been out on the lake all night, and early in the morning, they were coming back into shore. They were about 100 yards away, and they noticed somebody there on the shore. And he said, have you caught anything? And they said, no. He said, try casting on the right side of the boat, and you'll find some. And so they did. They casted, and so many fish were in that net. John looked over there and said, it's the Lord. And then Peter put on his outer garments and jumped in the water. There he came ashore and saw the Lord there fixing breakfast. Had a fire going, had some fish and bread there on the fire, and invited the disciples to come to eat. And they had a huge catch of fish, 153 fish. Praise the Lord. Well, I love the story about Peter. Peter is one of my favorite characters in the Bible because of his eagerness to be with Jesus wherever he was. If it was nighttime and Jesus was out on the water, Peter would say, Lord, call me to you. And then he did, and he walked out on the water. He saw Jesus from 100 yards away and jumped into the water to come to be where he is. I want to be like that. I want to be eager for Jesus. When we wake up in the morning, let's be eager to spend the day close to him, with him, doing what he's doing. Some people may say, well, back then they had the person of Jesus and we don't have him here with us now. Well, we do, because we have the Spirit of Christ with us. You don't have to jump off a boat like I did and come to shore to be with Jesus. He's with us all the time, right by our side. We just need to but turn to him in faith, and his presence fills us with the joy and peace from knowing him. You know, Peter knew Jesus and loved him so much, loved who he was, loved being near him. He was his master and his teacher, but he was also his friend whom he lifted up, whom he adored and honored and loved and wanted to be with him. And so every day, let's wake up eager to be with Jesus. And then during our day, let's remind ourselves that Jesus is calling for us. Jesus is showing us where he is. It might be over there wanting to help someone who is in labor with some kind of work, or he may be over here wanting to encourage someone. Let's go and join Jesus in whatever he's doing. Now, we know a lot about what Jesus would do because of the Bible. The Bible reveals who he is. So if somebody's struggling, Jesus is going to be there. If somebody's being mistreated, Jesus is going to come up alongside of them. If somebody is forgotten and off to the side, it's Jesus who's going to recognize that and go over and make sure they're included in. And that's what he calls his followers to do, is to whatever he's doing. And it is our joy. It is a joy to be close to Jesus because he's there fixing breakfast. Now, I've been guilty too long of getting excited and eager for breakfast like that, or a meal. But you know, Peter, he wasn't focused on that. The meal. They'd been out all night. I'm sure they were hungry. He was focused on Jesus, which brings up our final point. Let's walk by the Spirit and not seeking every day to maximize the desires of our flesh, or we'll miss out on the greatest joys, those things that are most fulfilling, most filling, most wonderful and desirous, and that is the spiritual life with Jesus that we should be eager and seeking after and hungry for every day. And I know you are, because this is our daily bread. I love the story, you know, right after this, after breakfast, Jesus restored Peter in a very moving scene on the beach. The very first question Jesus asked Peter is, Peter, do you love me more than these? Peter looked at him and said, Lord, you know I love you. And you know, I think Jesus knew that, because anytime Peter saw Jesus, he came to him, especially then. Peter had to believe one thing about Jesus that Judas didn't, and that is that Jesus was full of grace and truth. And Peter believed that and came to him and found redemption, found restoration, found a second chance. And that's why it is so awesome to be around Jesus, who's full of grace and truth. That's what our world needs today. That's what I need today. Let's all take that from him being close with us today. Well, may God bless you and keep you. May his face shine upon you and light your way.